My Lord. I always ask you, what is he to you? You know, that song comes up with some titles of who God is to other folk. But who is he to you? What has he done in your life? What do you need in your life? What do you need God to show up to be in your life? Because he can do anything. All right? He can be a surgeon in the operating room if that's what you need. All right? He can be a lever in the ballot booth if that's what you need. He can be whatever you need him to be. If you let him guide you, God can be that for you. But you gotta have faith enough to ask him and to pray for it. And don't limit what God can do based on what you can imagine. All right? Just tell him what you want. The songwriter used to say, call him up and tell him what you want. Yeah, tell him what you want. One thing I know for certain, and I bet you can't find anything else in your life that can fit this bill, he never stops. He never stops working. Find something else in your life that doesn't ever stop working. Anything in your life that ever stops working. I used to watch that commercial on TV from the Energizer Bunny. You know, they take him through everything, still going. Still going. Still going. They did that for a long time, but guess what? It ain't going no more. Yeah, even that stops. But he never stops. Never stops working. Let's not keep you too long today. I want to start talking about prayer as we move into prayer month. Okay? And I'm going to start, and today might not feel real good to you, but I believe it's going to be good for you. All right? And I'm honest when I say that. Today I want to talk to you from a passage of Scripture that challenges us pretty deeply because it opens up a space that we're not going to be comfortable with. And it's from Psalms 139. Psalms 139, and just a couple of verses there, 23 and 24. David's psalm. Some have said this is David's grandest song. You know, he was a prolific songwriter. He's the originator of Got Bars, Reggie. He is. All right. And his songbook is endless and still being replicated in ways that we can't imagine. But of the ones that have been written, 139 would seem to be the one that he won at least the Grammy for. All right. And more than that, he won the praise of generations of people behind this song. It's an exposition on the greatness of God's character. All right? But he takes the greatness of God's character and he juxtaposes that or compares that, the greatness of God's character, to the realities of human experience. My goodness. In other words, God, you're great, but there's some fools down here, is what he's saying. All right? And he puts that in a realistic way, like that. And then he ends it on two verses that I believe can give us some guidance today. And he writes, I'm going to read from two versions of the Bible. First is the NIV. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. All right, NIV version. Now I'm going to read the Message Bible. Investigate my life, O God. Find out everything about me. Cross-examine and test me. Get a clear picture of what I'm about. See for yourself whether I've done anything wrong. Then guide me on the road to eternal life. For a minute this morning, for a little while this morning, let's discuss the challenge of self-examination. All right? The challenge of self examination. Before we can get into praying in earnest, let's make sure we're praying with truth. Okay? Not just about other folk in situations, but be true to us. Praying in truth is hard. It's hard because sometimes we pray around our issues and not to our issues and not through our issues. And we start praying around the circumstance that we've created for ourselves and not the circumstance that is. All right? In other words, we start praying around our own press. Okay? And we haven't done the true thing because we're not praying about the rest of the story. All right? The real deal. And that's because it hurts. It's painful. You have to admit some things to yourself that you don't even want to admit. Watch this. It may even be some things that folk already know, but you don't have anybody in your life that's close enough to tell you this is where you are. And so you keep praying about stuff that don't even make no sense and that's not going to even get any better because you won't be truthful with yourself. Yeah, that's what we do now. We go along and create a reality for our own lives that fits the profile we want to project. But that's not the reality of our life. And then we wonder why it won't get better. It won't get better because you are praying over a fantasy. I told you this ain't gonna feel good. You're praying over something that is not realistic. David, in this psalm, in the first 6 verses, talks about the omniscience of God. All right? And then in verses 7 through 11, he talks about the omnipresence of God. And then in 12 through 16, he talks about the omnipotence. God is all powerful. So he talks about God being omniscient, he knows all. Talks about God being omnipresent, he's everywhere at the same time. And then he talks about God being omnipotent, he's all powerful. He puts all of that in Psalm 139. And then he says, God, you're all these things, but while you're all these things, verse 17 says, but how precious also are thy thoughts unto me. You're all this, and yet you care about me. You, God, are everything I just proclaimed, but I matter to you. I matter to you. And then he said, let's talk about them other folk. And he goes into, from verse 18 to verse 22, the folk who are negative in his life. He goes in on them. And he said, Lord, kill them. You ought to get rid of them. Why not just end all this? Why you let them get around and do all the stuff that they do? He said, surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men, for they speak against you. They talk about you, God. They don't reverence your name. They don't know how high and holy you are. Be done with them. He said, because I hate them. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. Verse 21, do not I hate them, O God, O Lord, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those who rise up against you? Not only do they hate you, they're fighting against you. They're not with the program, they're against the program. They got their own program going. And then, shockingly, this David, who is on this rip at this point, I told you how good you are. I told you how smart you are. I told you how you're everywhere. You're all powerful. And then there are folks against you. And it's as if he has an epiphany. He stopped in his tracks. And here we go. I want you to do this now. He said, but what about me? But what about me? I'm talking about them, but I think maybe what David was doing, if you're watching me, is he was having his time. God, you're good. God, you're great. God, you're everywhere. You're powerful. You're omniscient. He's walking. And then he started going in. But them folk don't like you. They mad at you, Lord. They do things against you. And I think while he was doing it, said that he was walking past a mirror. And when he got to this last part, I believe he stopped and looked in the mirror and he saw a reflection of himself and said, now while I'm talking about them, don't I look like them sometimes? Don't I act like them sometimes? And while I put on my God cloak, when I take my God cloak off, my cloak of invisibility, for those of you who like Harry Potter, and I put that on and think folk can't see me, when I am honest with myself, I can't wear that cloak all the time. It's hot. When I pull my cloak of invisibility off and I'm there bare naked before myself and I see the me that I really am, and if I'm going to be honest with you, I got to say, search me, Lord. Search me. Search me and see what I am. And that's what David is telling you and me. And I thought, we got to learn how to be honest enough to have this kind of conversation with God. And no matter how hard it may seem, this wait a minute moment that he's having reminds us that we point the finger at other folks and we judge them on their actions, but we judge ourselves on our intentions. It's a different standard that we put on them. I meant to do better. Give me credit, Lord. I didn't mean to say that. Forgive me, Lord. And I came to tell you today, we got to stop and do some self-examination. Watch this. Watch this. Y'all remember when you were in school? We just started school again. You remember the day when the teacher came in and said, all right, get your pads out. We're going to have a test today. We have the test. It's going to be a pop quiz. Great. No, you didn't study. Not ready for it. So we got 10 questions. Teacher goes through those 10 questions pretty quick. You feel pretty good about it. And then she says the moment that the band papers. Yes! Yes! 100. I'm gonna make 100. Yes. And you go through and no matter what she says, you made 100. Yes, yes, yes. And then she drops it on you at the end. Pass them in. Woo! Pass them in so I can go over them. That's what this is. And that's when you realize you ain't supposed to have that much eraser bits on your paper. You know it. Can't even blow them off fast enough. And you got that raggedy pencil you've been using the whole time and then tore a hole in the paper erasing that wrong answer. Yeah, you really made a 60. Some of us been grading our own paper. Some of us been grading our own paper, and can I tell you this? God grades different than we do. He does. He grades different than we do. Not only that, they started the program some years ago. I don't think they have it now. I'm not certain that they have it. There's teen court at Family Court. It's the late 90s. They started where they would bring in teens to the court to hear actual cases. These are actual cases. Folks sign up for it. I mean, it would be, simple cases, disorderly conduct, that kind of thing. Kid who was involved in it would agree to go before the teen court. and we bring in teens to serve every role in court except the judge. All right, and that would be a lawyer who would volunteer. So you'd have teen lawyers, teen clerks, defense counsel, prosecutor, all teens. Man, we first noticed a trend as soon as it started coming out. Those kids, if they could have given the death penalty, they would have given the death penalty most of the time on no matter what they did. They would slam their peers. You would think they would have gone a little lighter or easier on them. Most of the time, many times, let's say this, many times, the judge, the lawyer would have to go in and kind of alter what they had recommended as a plan because they were slamming these kids. And I said, wow, why are they so exacting on their peers? Because they know better. Because they know better. And they expect that you should know better too. And when you don't know better, they hold you to a standard. So I'm here today now, and I'm talking to believers. That's important. I'm talking to believers, not non-believers. And guess what? I expect that you should know better. All right? And so there's a different standard, and that's what God is. God said, you call yourself my child. And my children don't act like that. My children have a certain way that they're supposed to conduct themselves and teach their children to behave that way. And so when you come to me and you lift it up and say, search me, oh God, God is saying, I'm going to use my standard, not your standard. And that's going to give you a different result. Now, we're talking about folk who claim to have fellowship with God, but really walk in darkness. We're talking about folk who feel like they're exempt from God and his laws. Why? Because they're in the family. They're in the family. Last analogy. Y'all remember the show Cheers? Cheers. Yeah. One of the characters on Cheers was the woman Carla. All right? Carla was something else. Whatever she say, in real life, Rhea Perlman is her name. She was married to Dan DeVito. All right, the Subway shop dude now. Yeah, okay. But anyway, there was a storyline that they injected at one point. Carla's son became a priest on the show. Now, that's funny. That's as bad as she was, her son became a priest. And as bad as she was, she thought that because her son became a priest, that was an automatic get out of hell free card for her. She could say or do whatever she wanted to do and have no retribution because all she had to do was call her son and say, son, this is mama. And he would say 3 Hail Marys and you're going to be all right, But that's how we think. We think because we already accepted the Lord, Christ, he's our big brother, that we think we can sometimes act any kind of way because I'm already in the family. What's bad about it is we act that way toward other folk in the family. I'm not even talking about the enemies of the cross. We're talking about the followers of the cross. We mistreat. We disparage. People spend their whole life in church, going to spend eternity in hell. Because they haven't really had faith or accepted the Lord. Still dealing with the works of, as the Bible said, the flesh, works of the flesh, adultery, fornication, hatred, wrath, strife, jealousies, envying, drunkenness. People still living their lifestyle behind all that. And I told you I was going to be a little heavy this morning. All right? But I'd rather you be mad at me today than on that great getting up morning. All right? Because at that point, it won't matter. All right? David says, search me. And when he says search, in this instance, he doesn't mean to go look for something. No. He means to explore or search out or root out. All right? He means investigate me. Investigate me. And this man has courage enough. This is why God said he was a man after his own heart. He had courage enough to do all that he did, human perspective, and then turn around and say, Lord, investigate me. Look at my heart. Here's my heart, Lord. I lift it up. You have the ability, Lord, to look into who I am. Tell me who I am. Show me who I am. All right? He wants God's interpretation of how he's walking and how he's dealing with folk. It's a voluntary investigation. You got to be strong enough to submit yourself to this. And then he said, know my heart. Know my heart. I'm talking about my real heart, not what I put out. Not my pub. Not my publicity. Not what I put in front of folk. And this is important in this day and time. All right? Because we put things out now, and it's not who we really are. All right? We put the one clip out that works, not the 10 that didn't. We throw them down, and then people start forming a picture of who we are based on the ones we put out. They always say, don't ever meet your hero. All right? Don't ever meet your hero, because you'll be sorely disappointed when you realize that your hero is just a person. And folks say that all the time. They got a chance. They stood in line. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm going to get a chance to meet Debo, whoever. You know, I'm going to get a chance to meet him. I'm going to get a chance to meet Debo. He's going to be at the Mini Mart on 3rd Avenue. And they go down there and they stand in line and they get in there. And Debo, and then you get in line and you're ready to say, what's up, Debo? And he say, what you talking about, fool? He is Debo. He act like that for real. He ain't nice to people. And you disappointed because you have made up in your mind who you are. And then you realize Debo ain't playing no character. He is that. He is that. And guess what? That's what we find out about ourselves. We can be that sometimes. We can be ugly to people. We can be hard to people, but we don't project that. We don't put that out. And if we slow the record down and look, there are signs that we are that, but we make excuses about why we behave that way. All right? But the reality of it is we behave that way because that's where we are in life. All right? And we got to learn how to be truthful to ourselves. So know my heart, not my blog, not my Insta. Know my heart. What is it? Your heart tells you what you're most intimate about. And so he's exposing himself to God. One writer said, politics masks the real person. We ought to know that. We just came out of a season of people who were presenting themselves for real. The easiest thing for you to do is run for office the first time. That's the easiest thing for you to do the first time. You know why? Because you have no record. Now that's complicated, but when you run after that first time, folk can say, look at what you did or didn't do. Because the reality of it is you made these promises. And that's why it's not running. That's the hard part, is governing. That's the hard part, because you have to do what you actually say you're going to do. That's true in your life. All right, young folk, I'm going to tell you this. When you're dating, be you. Be you. All right? They already got some imaginings of what you are. You already got some imagining. But the reality of it is, it's different. It's different when you get married. Don't nobody wear no satin caps when you dating. But them babies come out when you ain't dating. Yes. Yeah. You ain't gonna never catch him sleep with tongue out in front of the TV. When you dating, he always on it. Till you get married. And I can go down a whole long list of just regular stuff that just come out once the dating is over. Be you. And if he can like that you're going to be all right. Yeah, because you're going to change. Yeah, you can't date forever. You ain't got enough money to be dating forever. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You ain't, let me move on. The writer says, you know me. Lord, you know me. Because you know me, tell me, school me, show me who I am, and then strengthen me to have courage so that I can walk as me. And then he says something that's crucial. He says, test me. Whew. Test me. Prove me. Probe, examine. I want your seal of approval. I think they still do the good housekeeping seal of approval on technology and other things. They put the items through these rigorous tests to see if they can stand up to the realities of life. You know, if you get a toaster and the toaster says, you know, good for 25,000 pieces of toast or whatever. Or whatever they say. They actually test it to see if it can hold up to that. And if it does, then they put the seal of approval on it. All right? Well, there's a good housekeeping seal of approval. There's a seal of approval on Christians as well. It's called a cross. That's the seal of approval. And God gives you that cross. And it's heavy, Theophilus, because it comes with the requirement that if you're going to wear it and show it and share it, that you live it. Pick up your cross daily is what the scripture tells us to do. Pick it up every day and represent me. It's heavier than what would Jesus do, man. That's politics. The cross means that when I spit on you, or dog you, publicly, call your name out, talk about your family, talk about you turn the other cheek. You know how hard that is? Because the you in you is saying, hold up now. Hold up, click, 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 click. I'm coming at you. You come for me, I'm coming back at you. But that's not what we've been told to do. It's hard. Cars are tested to see if they're roadworthy. They still get in accidents. But when they get in an accident, do you know those cars have been tested to be able to withstand certain amount of damage? The bumper is rated. Used to be better than it is now. Now ain't nothing but styrofoam behind it, which is why when you get tapped, you can tow the whole car up. Because you might not even see much exterior damage on it, but the underpinning has been cracked. And so they got to change it all out, and it costs a whole lot of money to do that. That's how it is in our life sometimes. You might not see much superficial damage on yourself, but your foundation has been cracked. And so it needs to be healed from within, and only God can see and can do that. And so know me, test me, and then know my thoughts. We got enough sense to guard our words sometimes. Sometimes. Somebody say, have a nice day, but they're really thinking, get out of my face. We got enough sense to say that. Have a nice day. Can't stand you, is what you're saying in the back of your mind. All right. Oh, now don't act new on me. Don't act new on me. We do it. We all guilty of it. Folks say, I make them speak. I make them speak. And what you saying, I don't like them, but I make sure they going to say something to me. Good morning. Yeah, you ain't really meaning it. I'm trying to tell you. What I want you to know out of that exchange is while people hear what's coming out of your mouth, God knows what's in your heart. All right? And what I'm telling you is the same God can help you mean what you say. Can help it be a true statement when you say to somebody who you know doesn't care for you, who you know doesn't like you, you can still, with God's strength, say to them, good morning. Hope you're doing all right today. Anything I can do to help you out? You can do that and not be superficial or fake, because it's the Spirit of God that's in you that allows you to do it. And that's the thing that surpasses understanding with people. You don't have to be fake. You can be truthful. And people won't understand it. Some won't even appreciate it. But you'll know that God knows my heart. And he knows I'm being genuine. And then people say, you know she don't like you. Why you helping her with her work? Because everything I do, I'm doing unto God. And this job don't belong to me or her or nobody here. All this work belongs to all of us. And I'm just helping the team to get by. You can say that and mean it. But you got to be able to say, Lord, search me. Know my thoughts. And then you got to listen to him and say, is there any offensive way in me? Ooh, any offensive way. See if there be anything in me, Lord. Oh, my Lord. Any offensive way, any wicked way. I bet if we stay here all day, all night, it would be hard for me to get any of us to admit that we're wicked. Who would admit that they're wicked? Yeah. And then if I had the same question, you might not admit you're wicked, but I wonder if I took a poll on how other folk interact with you, how many of them would think you wicked? You got some negative, some awful ways about you. Be a different result on that. But it matters if you can do it yourself. Am I wicked? Am I negative on everything? Do I intentionally not help people when I can? When I can, because it doesn't fit me, for whatever reason. God sees our motives. So when you start praying, you pray with this in mind and ask God to strengthen you so that your motives are just and pure. He said, if there's any hurtful, wicked, grievous, anything that offends not people, you. Anything that offends you, Lord, take it out. Take it out. And then lead me. And I'm out of here. Lead me. After you clean me up, after you identify what's going on with me, I'm asking you, take the wheel, Jesus. You lead me, you guide me, you show me, you direct me, and you show me how to live in that way from this point forward. Therein lies the biggest problem, because we don't like to give Jesus the wheel. We want to be in charge. Yeah, we do. I mean, it's just being human. Since Adam and Eve, we wanted to be in charge. Even if he provides everything in the world for us, you can do that with a child. You can put 6 grapes in front of a baby and put them one at a time. I guarantee you before long, the baby going to stop getting the grape you give and get the grape they want. That's life. That's just human nature. We want to choose what we want to choose. And sometimes we'll even choose what's negative for us just to be able to choose ourselves. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody in your life says, not him, not her. Everybody says that, and you bear down on it. We must have a love that's forever. Because the world don't want us to be together. This false foolishness. You got to be the one. The one and only. Make it last forever. I mean, you singing whatever. Telling yourself. Everybody in your family stand up there with their arms crossed saying, Lead me, Lord. Let me listen. Let me take advice from godly people who tell me what's going on. There are people who God puts in your life. You got to let them in. Let them help you. That's important. And then the last thing is this, and I'm done. As you lead me, Lord, don't fool me. Don't let me fool myself about my eternal destiny. Let me be true in my relationship with you. All right, all these relationships I got with people down here, these false, fake relationships I got with people down here. But Lord, don't let me be fake and false with my relationship with you. Not my eternal destiny. Don't play with things that matter for real, and that's the one that matters for real. Because one day God is going to surely destroy the wicked. One day he's going to, and because of that, you ought to always be praying, Lord, I know you're going to destroy the wicked one day, so see if there be any wicked way in me. Because I don't want to be anywhere around in that number. And Lord, I know you're going to come back one day for your own. So I want to make sure I'm yours. So when you come back for your own, Lord, I realize that straight is the gate and narrow is the way. I realize that. And so when I find myself doing what everybody else is doing, I ought to be scared. Yeah, because everybody ain't going to be doing right. That's just not the world. All right? You got to do some hard things. And then there's a way unto man that seems right, but the ends thereof leads to destruction. How can I be sure? How can I know that what I'm doing is the right way? I came to tell you it's simple. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the way. How do I know it? Because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And if you want to get to my Father, you got to come through me. That's what he said. I didn't make it up. It's in the toolkit. You got to read it. You got to know it. Do you know Jesus? Are you following him? Are you listening to him? Jesus said it. God loved us enough to send Jesus to us. And all he asked us to do was follow him. Believe in what Jesus Christ did and follow him. It's not complicated from that sense. So my question is, do you believe him? Do you love him? Have you accepted him and his way? If not, he's empowered me to offer an invitation to you to do that. Follow him. Follow me is what he said. And then I come regularly and say to you, follow me as I follow him. Not creating a new way, We're just following his way. Do you know him? Do you know him? Have you accepted him? And if you haven't, today is the day for you to do so. Today is a day. So I'm offering Christ to you right now. To you. Today is the day. Don't let today pass.